Okay, so this section, 1.4, which is combinations of functions, is almost identical to what you had last year or whenever you had Algebra 2. It's very little difference between the way it's presented here and the way it's presented in that class. Right? Combinations of functions. These 4 combinations, if you look in our book, right, they're calling these arithmetic combinations, meaning that all it is add, subtract, multiply, divide. How is it that we add, subtract, multiply, and divide functions? Well, what you want to take from here is that if you see this kind of notation, like f plus g in parentheses, right, and then it's got the x in parentheses, that's function notation. And what it means is f of x plus g of x. I mean, you can think of it as that, and it's probably more convenient to write it like that. Right? Every one of these, same thing, right? They put the f minus g in parentheses, but you're probably going to work with it like f of x minus g of x. Right? Fg in parentheses is a multiplication. And it means multiply f of x times g of x. And the f divided by g of x means f of x divided by g of x. I mean, if I asked how you think any of those would work without explaining it to you first, you'd probably guess that it worked like that. So it's very intuitive up to that point. The 2 that you have to be more careful with are this one, right? Make sure to change the sign of all the terms that are in g of x, to change sign of all g of x terms. Because you're subtracting g of x. So if there's more than one term, you have to make sure that every one of those terms is their sign flips, right? And this one, when you're dividing by any kind of variable expression like g of x, then you got to worry about dividing by 0. So domain becomes an issue when you divide by a variable expression. That's why they have this statement right here. Domain is important.